Oh, Tickle Me Tuesday with some of your Truthful Tuesday stories. What is your truth? I'm feeling silly, but I'm also giddy because when the universe tickles me, I allow my cosmic giggle to come out. Hi, Anita. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And everybody else who is joining in today. I feel pretty, oh so pretty, oh so pretty, witty, and funny. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Taib. Hi, Christy. How are you all doing on this Tuesday? Okay, it's been 3 days. I was busy this weekend. I was very high into, on a spiritual high, let's say. Very much involved in Kundalini Yoga teacher training, which is one of my sevas, one of my giving back, also known as Dharma, right? So what we give back also comes back to us. And so the subject of tithing came up, and that's why I've been wanting to talk about this for a few days, mostly because what people don't realize is where is your energy going at most times? Where attention goes, energy flows. So if you look at your day, in the course of your entire day, where do you focus the most energy, the most attention? Where do you fixate? Where do you devote, right? Yogi Bhajan, the reason that we do sadhana, which is tithing 2.5 hours in the morning to the day, is for devotional dedication to the higher purpose, the higher self, all that is. Now you can call that whatever you desire, because ultimately there is really no name for it. But what it is when you take that time to clear out the garbage, the monkey mind, that in itself is a dedication, a service for others, because how you show up for you is how you're available to show up for others, right? So that is an example of tithing. Most people will notice that tithing is about how much money you give back for how much you earn in your life. And it can be energetic exchange as well, but you have to pay attention. How is it that it shows up in your life? So in the Sikh, or I should say the Kundalini tradition, they tithe 11%. There's something powerful about the power of 11, right? And many people who are into tithing will tithe roughly 10% of their income, right? And some of us don't have a lot to give back. So in my case, what I like to do is I like to tithe my time, because I also know how valuable my time is and important it is to me. So Yogi Bhajan, when he came to this country, he was trying to get us to understand that when you put in that 11% of your day, those 2.5 hours to start off, thank you, Carl, what you're doing is investing in yourself, and that you're covered for the rest of the day. And so this is the importance of practice. This is the importance of meditation, and how it will show up in your life is how you're showing up for yourself first thing in the morning. Or, I'm going to tell you, it doesn't always happen first thing in the morning for me. So in the course of your day, how much time do you take to go within, to clear out this garbage, right? And also, by the way, the armpits are the garbage pits of the mind. So that's why he would say 10 minutes a day at least you should be sweating that stuff out, right? The lymphatic system, draw out those toxins. If you've got a angry liver, you need to cleanse it out, right? So much goes on in the physical body as well as the mind, and the body responds to the mind. So when we show up first thing in the morning and we sit there in that reflective time, and that's when we're going to get the most insight into Miss C, into me I see. Thank you, Anita. Because what happens is you become habituated to a routine that serves not only you but everyone else in your life. And so you can say it's a selfish act to be dedicated and be devoted to raising your vibration, to raising your prana, your life force, your vitality, your thoughts, your awareness, your clarity. But in all honesty, it's all encompassing, because when you take care of you, you're taking care of others too. Ooh, hashtag that. When you're taking care of you, you're taking care of others too. Service to self, right? You got to put that oxygen mask on first, is how we can show up for others. There's nothing selfish in self-care. And that's in itself teaching others to value, to show up for yourself. If you do it for you, others will see that as an example, and they'll be motivated enough to do it for themselves too. Now, depending on what state a person is in, and I'm just sharing this from my personal experience as I always do, when I have been upset because someone's getting something I wish I had, it's only because I wasn't giving it to myself first. And the envy and the jealousy is just a reflection of the not feeling like you can have it. And you can have whatever you want, honey. This life was made for you and me. There's plenty to go around. Nobody's going to take anything from you. Nobody's going to be able to steal your glory, your thunder, because we all have our own version, right? There's something for everyone, right? Thank you, Carl. Hoo-hoo. And so this morning I got up and I went to Sadhana, and I'm telling you, some mornings I'm just like, but the bed feels so cozy and I could just so stay in the cloud, the love cloud. And then I'm like, you know, if you get up, even if you go to Sadhana, wherever you're at, and you sleep through the mantras, through the chanting, I at least get through the japji and the kriya and the long ekankars. Beyond that becomes sometimes a little bit more the challenge, and that's okay. But I've shown up, and at least I've made that effort. So I get a 45-minute nap toward the end, if I even get the nap, because I'm still chanting. I'm like, it's a waking sleep. There's really no falling asleep. But I get the most insight. They call it the Amrit Vela, because the veil is thin, and that's when you're going to receive the most insight. And this is actually also the time when, if you are sensitive to addictions that are substances such as alcohol or drugs, this will also make the veil thin enough to pull in that which is even more toxic to your life. So you can work on clearing this stuff or congesting it more, but that's the focus. You want to really look at, where do you tithe your time in your day? Where do you put your energy and your focus? And so in addition to this, while I was kind of doing things around the house, as I had a very productive morning, I decided I'm going to go try to get some bananas because we need another case. I'm trying a new diet for Buddy. Buddy's going to get a little bit of a banana diet because I want to see if maybe the foods that he's eaten might be what's causing him to have these hot spots, because I know that's what happened with my dog Angel. And I didn't recognize it when it was happening for so long. I was just feeding her what I thought was okay. But then when I was researching food for myself, I started to realize, why would I feed my dog something that I wouldn't even eat? And so I changed up her diet. I took her completely off of grains. I took chicken out of her diet because of the hormones and the stuff that they put in these animals and then feed them to other animals. I mean, that messes you up in itself. And it's no different than giving pharmaceuticals to your poor pet who's over here going, I don't know why my nervous system's all messed up. Because they itch, they scratch, they have all these nervous tics, but it's what we put in our bodies, right? Do you have your own nervous tics? I know for me, I'm still trying to heal my gut. And then if I have cross-contamination, a little bit of gluten, a little bit of wheat will kick me back into relapse. And I'm like going every 2 days. I'm just like, just please let me have a BM. Please let it pass. And this too shall pass eventually. So we're trying something new. And hey, it's all that you can do. I actually was feeding her this dehydrated, it was a vegetable and fruit mixture that I got. And then I was also doing like a salmon roll thing that I got at PetSmart that seemed pretty reasonable. And I did venison and sweet potato with her, and also salmon and sweet potato. And she seemed to do pretty well on that. And the hot spots reduced significantly. Between that and fleas, that's the other thing, right? So fleas are a parasite, and that attacks your nervous system. Then, we're not sure if it may be the collar that we got for them. But all of these factors you have to process of elimination and see if taking one thing out is the cause or if it's going to be another thing. So, we're all navigating life in the same way. We want our pets, we want our family members, we want everybody to feel good. So as I was up early after Sadhana, I went into Tampa and I didn't find the bananas I wanted, unfortunately. It's okay, they were just super, super green and they were looking like they were really picked too soon, because the last box I picked up, I didn't even notice there was like a little flat banana in it. Has anybody ever seen that before? I've never seen it. This was the first time. It's like the banana didn't get close enough to maturity, so it was kind of like flat and stayed green the whole time. But the beauty was, and here's an example of when I do my practice, just the simple little miracles and magic that shows up in my life, right? This is my truth. This is Truthful Tuesday, so tickle me with your truths, people. I had gone in, and I tend to catch people's eyes, and I recognize them for something like kind of pops in energetically. There's sensations I can't even explain. I just, something about that. Okay, it's in my data bank. I'm aware of it. And then later on, I encounter and speak with the individual. So I end up getting, fortunately, they had the red and the deep green and red watercress, so I got a bunch of that with the regular watercress. It's slightly less spicy, but the way I made it before, the way I like to do it, is with some like orange wedges. So you can cut out the wedges of the oranges and make a nice salad with that, and some avocado and some curry and even some tomatoes. Just you just throw it all in. I mean, I'm all about mixing it up as I go, because I like surprise flavors. And then I also got a bunch of, what else did I get? I got some more ginger, because we're going to be juicing. And I got 5 big old bags of apples that were actually just a little bruised here and there. And personally, the bruised is actually the best part, because it's always the sweetest, right? So I picked up 5 big bags for less than, less than $7. Now, no, they're not organic. But guess what? I'll peel off the skins and we'll be okay. So I was super excited, because they weren't just Granny Smiths. They were Granny Smiths, they were Golden Delicious, they were Galas, Fuji's, Pink Ladies. So we got a whole melange of pommes. I'm just going with the French. Melange de pommes, right? Oh, that sounds kind of pretty, right? So apple melange, a mixture, a variety of apples. And then I also picked up celery. We'll be juicing some celery as well. What else? I got a lot for like less than $35. And I was pretty happy with that. I was pretty satisfied. Even if I didn't get the bananas, I was happy with that. But then I met, like I mentioned, so somebody's eye caught mine, and I knew, this person looks familiar, I don't know. But I didn't kind of stay on it. I let it pass through my awareness. And as I was looking around and gathering the things that I needed, and I got some jicama root as well. I got some sweet potatoes and some beets, golden beets. And I was pretty excited about that. And the man caught my eye because he came over, and it was from the beginning when I first walked in. And it was Andre, and I'd met him, I think 2 years ago, actually, 2.5 years ago now. And he was checking to see if there was anything I needed. He says, you're looking around like you might need some help. Is there anything I can do? Now, I like to make friendly with all of the staff, because you know what? I would think that their days get a little bit boring sometimes, and it's nice to interact with somebody other than your colleagues. And they always seem so friendly anyway. So I make it a point, because they're always so helpful. And I've had several of them say to me, so what do you do with that when you buy it? Like, I'll pick up something and they're just curious about what I'm making with the food that I buy. And so you kind of brighten someone's day by engaging. Isn't that what we're all here for? Is engaging with one another? Not just on social media, but in person. Now that's the best. And that's actually what I live for, is I truly love to meet people one-on-one. This is a beautiful method of communicating, engaging, and meeting new people and just growing together. But the best is when you're in person, one-on-one with another human being, isn't it? Right? So that sun got so bright, but it feels so good. I think I'll put my sunglasses on because this future's so bright. I gotta wear shades. Y'all know I gotta dance. Oh, I have to show you something real quick. Oh, wait, let me finish the story. Squirrel. This is my truth. It's Tuesday. So as I was speaking with Andre, he says, hold on a minute, because I said, I think I met you before, because I was wearing my turban. That was what it was, is I was all in white, and I had my turban on, and I was all in my Kundalini yoga attire. And he asked me about the Adi Shakti symbol that was on top, and you know, it was just a lovely dialogue. And I said, you know what? I think I've met you before. I believe you were the same person that I asked about the body dates, and we got to talking. And so he turns around and he says, well, you know, let me give you a sample. He got me this box of organic Hawaiian dates. Now, I don't know what type of variety name they are called, but I can tell you that they're totally different. They're sweeter than a deglé, or deglet, depending on how you pronounce it. I pronounce it deglet, D-E-G-L-E-T. I personally love Majuls and bodies. And so he got me this box because what's happening is Ramadan's coming up, and so he's actually one of the buyers for Sanwa, and I like knowing who's who, because then you know who you're working with and talking to. And he's always been so wonderful. He gave me his card the first time I met him and said, if you ever want or need anything, just contact me. And I said, well, I knew I hadn't seen you in a while because I know you said you travel a lot. So, but he gave me the box. He said, I think you're going to really enjoy them. And he said that if you're ever needing anything, let me know. And, you know, if I'm not out here, tell them out here, tell one of the other people, and they will come find me. So I thought that was really lovely. And Cheryl, if you got on the top bar where it shows story, if that's the way you found me live, it's possible you might have to go to my page to be able to see the share button. It's a strange little feature I remembered a long time ago. So yeah, that was just a lovely encounter, and it made my day because he was helpful, and he helped me find the red and dark green watercress, and I was pretty excited about that. And we had some other conversations, which was really cool, about, you know, making sure that you wash your produce. Most of us don't take into consideration a lot of produce that comes from other countries. We don't know what kind of water they're using to water the plants that they're growing, whether it be organic or conventional. There's so many different standards across countries and borders we don't even know about. When I lived in Europe, I mean, I know that one of the big issues for mozzarella di bufala in the Naples Campania area was the toxicity of the land where they were dumping toxic chemicals, where they were grazing the cows, the buffalo cow, where they did the buffalo milk, right? The buffaloes. It's so crazy. It really is the stuff that's going on around in other countries. Or, for example, one of the things he and I were talking about, would you buy organic from China? Their standards are not the same as the U.S. Other countries' standards are completely different than the U.S., and you don't understand that until you start going down the rabbit hole. Now, don't get upset about it. You just, you can get upset about it. That just shows you care. I went through a lot of rabbit hole encounters. I used to follow so many different people. When I started on my path, what are you eating? No. Hold on a minute. I got a chewer over here. Give me that. Give me that. That. You can't have that. He's got something for his teeth. It's basically a plastic bottle cap. Here, I don't want my fingers taken off. Can I have that, buddy? Please? I'm still here. Come here. Come here. Okay, we're having an ornery puppy moment. Stop. Let me have that. No. Okay. Blech. Lay down. He's been so good. Can you still hear me? Give me some hearts if you can still hear me, because I moved the microphone. I got doggy slobber in my finger, so just a second. I'm going to wipe it off. So the other thing, can y'all see me well? Hear me well? That's better yet. Yeah, he had... Chicken getting shipped back and forth. Oh, that's another story. We're not even going to go there with the chicken thing, right? You know how much that and the meat. So back when I think it was toward the end of when I was still eating meat. That's another thing that's an interesting dynamic. You know, they talk about, Angus beef? And in the way that they were doing it and claiming it to be Angus Kobe beef. That's what it was, because it was about Japan. Literally. It would be raised over here and then shipped over to Japan so that they could call it Kobe beef. All this crazy stuff that they do. Please, even if you eat what you consider humane, find your source. If you're going to eat meat, find your source. You know what? I was thinking about this today. I was reflecting on it today that, I've come to a really pivotal conclusion in my own life just based on all of the experience that I've had. And it had a lot to do with the reading I did on a Monday Hook'em a while back, where when you choose, you deny. So when you say, I choose this because I want the positive, then you're denying something else and you're already negating it, giving it the tagline of it being negative, right? We have to discern in our life, but I really have come to more of a neutral state where I really feel more empowered to say, I just like having an opinion about things anymore, because I find that it puts a border between me and others. It creates this almost like inacceptance of what someone else may be doing in their life, as well as maybe the same in return, right? Like if I don't agree with what you're doing in your life, it doesn't mean that's a bad thing, but then it's just not for me. That's the simplicity of just saying that I don't have an opinion that you should do this or that. I can see ways maybe you can improve your life, but I'm not going to impose myself on anyone, because I know what it took for me to get to where I'm at. And all of us are on a journey. Yeah. And so if you choose to eat meat, I'm still going to love you. If you choose to be vegan, vegetarian, and choose a label, that's your choice. I don't, because I feel what it does is it puts me in a little box, and everybody's perception of what that box is entitled to, and it takes away from you being seen as an individual, as a unique human being in this world. And I think it's disempowering when we label ourselves, when we put that mask on, because people will see us as they are. If someone has a bad experience with meat eating, vegetarianism, paleo, keto, what else is there? Lactarian, what else? Pescatarian, whatever these crazy labels are. I mean, honestly, I don't even want to keep up with it. It's just way too much. Or if you're Republican, or you're Democrat, or you're conservative, or you're this fan of this team, or this fan of that team. In the end, all you're doing is creating a divide, a separation. It doesn't really matter. If you and I agree that I just want to have this engagement on a neutral plane, yeah, we may have some different things to talk about, and I can appreciate and honor your opinion just as much as I would expect the same in return. I love it when they walk up behind me and don't realize it. It's all good. It's beautiful, right? I'm grateful they have trash bins around here on the path.
Every time I come, usually I find at least one lure and a bobber. Today, nothing.
I know, right?
Trash.
Exactly.
You're being so calm.
He's such a good buddy. And so going back to this whole thing of tithing, again, wherever your energy is, it's a form of tithing. Wherever your thoughts and what you hold sacred in your life, whatever it is you value, you appreciate, grows, right? Where attention goes, energy flows. So the more that you are focusing on something, what you're doing is bringing more of that to you, but that's also a tithing in your life. So for example, as I was doing some things in the kitchen, I was really feeling blessed, okay, and blessing at the same time, because that's how that process works. When you're in a space of gratitude, you're drawing more of that to yourself. And I have my moments, y'all. I have my moments where I get agitated. I'm easily annoyed. Maybe I want to do something else and I'm doing something maybe I don't want to be doing. I think we're all human in that respect. But then when you really embrace whatever it is you're doing with true love and compassion in your heart and go, you know what, this is a blessing for me to be even able to do, right? I think this is easier for those of us who are more multifaceted, able to do more things at once, because my mind, when I can be one-tracked in a multifaceted dimension where I can be doing a bunch of stuff. Don't bother me because I'm already on this track. And I was very much like this weekend, so I can attest to this. When I put my energy on something, I really want it to be from my heart. I really want it to be pure. I want it to be loving and it to be received that way. So the only way it's going to be received that way is when you pour that into it, right? So if you're going to do something for someone without any expectation is the key. Remove the attachment to expecting something in return, just doing it from your heart. Because when you show up in that heart space, you don't even care. You just feel good about having been able to do it, like I said. And people will feel the love that you pour into something, and they're going to feel that much more loved, right? So Tom said he's going to juice for me because I really want to juice. I want to do a juice fast, actually. I don't know. I'm kind of like still waffling, and I admit this is more because we just got so much food in the fridge right now, and sometimes I'm like that. My mind would be like, okay, can I fast? Can I do this? Can I do that? I have to make sure there's like kind of a clean slate, because if the fridge is too full, I'll feel obligated to eat a lot of food, even though, maybe I can do things with it and maybe put it away. There's so much I can do, right? My coconuts won't be coming because it turns out they got left over at Palm Island, which is funny because I was laughing when my girlfriend's like, I got coconuts for you. And then she showed up and she's like, oh, and then I forgot them. I was like, it's okay. It was so funny. This is just life, right? So Tom has the juicer, and I was excited. And while he was doing his exercise this morning, which was really cool because he's in that, y'all, it warms my heart. You don't know how much work he does behind the scenes. And I see it. Even when I don't see it, I feel it, which is why it's even more important for me to do my practice and show up for me first. And I know he feels it, and I know it because I feel it's hard to explain. Maybe y'all don't get this, maybe you do. But I truly draw him into my space when I do my practice. My altar when I'm in the house, or if I'm at Sadhana, or if I'm at the yoga studio, wherever I am, I really channel so much love to the people in my life. And of course, Tom is one of them, as well as my parents, my sisters, extended family, friends, because to me, I know that what I'm doing isn't just for myself, but doing it for myself is important in order to bring everyone else in, tithing my time in a loving way. Now, maybe somebody doesn't want me doing that. That's not the key. The key is that I'm doing it anyway. And even those times when I maybe like dragging butt, I like, oh, I don't feel like getting out of bed, Done is better than perfect is what I was reminded a few weeks ago. You have to show up even in the things that maybe you just resist, because what resists will persist. And so the more you show up for you, the more you devote that time, the more you're actually holding the space, and everybody else is feeling it, right? So I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I took all the apples, and I took all the labels off, because this is just how I roll. I just start doing all this stuff, and I like it all neat and orderly. And the kitchen's small, and I know that's not always easy for him, because he's like feeling like he's cramped in there, and he doesn't understand what's what, and he doesn't know where things are. And he can ask me where something is, and I'm like, it's over in the bottom corner on the right-hand side, right behind right? Because that's how my mind will know. I may have stuff all over the place, and I was grateful when he handed me the label maker and I labeled all the spices. That was fun. Actually, it makes sense. My sister, I showed it to her, and she was like, oh my gosh, that's great. It's amazing what a label maker will do. Isn't that amazing? I need one of those. My sister and I have a lot in common in the kitchen. It's kind of comical. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to clean his juicer because I bet you it's probably dirty from his trip because when he came down and everything else. So the whole time he was outside, I was just like, and I know it's silly, but these are the things that I can do. I can get into such a meditative state, and I'm like, I'm going to do this. He doesn't have to be happy about it, but I'm loving on this, and I'm just cleaning up the juicer going, he loves me because he was going to juice for me, and I love him, and I'm going to clean the juicer for him. Because that's how I feel, like really blessed to be able to show up and do that. And I have my moments where I'm all about this sticky spoon on the counter drives me crazy, or something hitting the floor means dog fur is going to be on it and I got more to clean. And for those of you who understand this, you can understand that you're going, oh shoot, a synthetic shirt hits the floor and we have a beautiful fluffy white dog, and then it's like you pick that up and how much dog fur do you think is collected because of the static electricity from synthetics, right? So I'm like going 20 minutes later I've picked out each and every fur hair. That's just an old thing. Like even when I had Angel, people were like, how do you keep the house so clean? I actually had a cleaning lady when I was in Italy. I do admit that's one thing I miss the most is having some help. But I love Buddy so much, and he really truly is my walking buddy. I love when we get to go out. The retractable leash was acting up to as we left the house, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Really? Like, I want him to be able to roam, but I need to be able to stop him if he can get near traffic. But again, like, there's little things that my mind could go a little nutty about. But you know, in the end, I just say, you know what? I asked for this from the universe. Wow, that baby is nowhere near me. I don't know if you can hear it, but mommy and daddy are exercising together. It's so cute to watch over here. So like I truly, when I entered into this I'm speaking that when I invited Tom down here, I opened it up to the universe and said, you know what? I'm not going to get attached to this. I'm just going to be open to whatever is. I'm not going to attach any idea of what to be expected, because that's what had been my downfall in previous relationships. Ladies, have you ever looked at someone and thought, ooh, this could be the one? I just washed all of that out of my mind. I'm like, you know what? We have fun. And as long as we're having fun, I'm happy. And I'll just be my natural self. Well, I think he didn't realize, right? Getting caught up in the leash. Yeah, in both ways, right? The leash of the mind or the leash of the dog, right? See, this is a play on words I love, Cheryl. So when I invited him down here, I was just like open to, I mean, for me, anybody who's ever known me, that's a total leap of faith. And Lana, you let someone in your space that you don't even really know. Anybody out there who knows me knows that that's huge for me. But I was just thinking, this is an opportunity for growth for me. And I knew it would be for both of us. And so I totally was like, okay, all guys that I've ever dated don't apply because I have no idea anymore. It's been so long. And because I had to see from the previous relationships where a lot of my struggles were, but it's also opened up doorways of, wow, you know, Yogi Bhajan said that the woman is the householder. And that's a true honor. So if you're a woman and you're holding down a house, whether it's by yourself, with an animal, with kids, as a single mother, or even with loved ones, spouses, even if you're holding space for your parents, or you're a caretaker for someone that you love, that is a gift. And we obviously chose it to come to this world, right? We chose it because we knew this was part of our evolution. It was part of how we could serve, right? It's humbling, and it gives me goosebumps, not just because the wind is blowing and it's getting a little chilly, but it truly humbled me when I realized, you know, all of my life, y'all, I was the one who said, I am so not a housewife. Number one, I'm not meant to be in the kitchen serving someone. If I ever had relationships, it was all about equality in the kitchen. I like to share that kitchen space, right? Of course, I don't have a big enough kitchen for that so much, but it is sweet when we do have time in the kitchen together. But my old mentality was, I'm not your typical standard housewife. I'm not the person to take care of. You know, like, I don't know what to explain it, because even then I thought, well, how would I ever have children? Well, I think I would need some help. I was just very much business and professional oriented, that I saw myself constantly trying to balance. And I'm in a totally different space than I ever was before. But the idea that when I started getting into my Kundalini teachings, that, oh my gosh, now I understand what an honor it really is to be able to hold that space in a home. It creates a stability for the people in our lives. And they feel it. Now, if you're not stable and you're not able to sustain yourself, ladies, see, here's the interesting thing about humanology, men versus women, women and men together. Men want to feel respected and women want to feel desired. And the irony is a man will not desire you unless you are respecting them. So we kind of have this weaving, this dance of, honey, I appreciate you so much. I value you. I respect you. Let me show you and count the ways. And a lot of it's in how we serve. And vice versa will be served right back to us. So again, this is the tithing. It's a form of energetic tithing. So the more you are giving, the more you are receiving. The less you are giving, the less you're receiving. It only makes sense, right? And so this was something I was also reflecting upon while I was cleaning the juicer. I was going, wow, I can see how it's already played out. And that, there were times where maybe one of us was a little imbalanced and upset about things, and the other was holding the space, and it's bounced back the other way too. And the beauty is, you have two beautiful people who've come together and are really balancing each other out in so many different ways. It's nice to have a man in the house, y'all. Just saying. I need a big, strong man who's tall and can reach that counter, because I can't get up there. I'm a little bit challenged in the height department sometimes. So, yeah. And I really, truly appreciate Tom. He's a beautiful soul. He's a beautiful man. And he's cute, too. He doesn't know that he created a monster when he brought in the whole baboofa thing, but that's a whole nother story. If you can't laugh at yourself, how do you expect others to laugh with you in life, right? So yes, I'm very humbled and very grateful for all that we have together. And you know what, Cheryl? One of the things that I learned, we do come together to heal what we can't alone, for the whole reason that it's all about relationship. This human existence couldn't exist without others. We can easily go into a monastery, a convent, a temple, an ashram. How's that serving us if we think we can run away from what it is we don't want to confront? Because it's always going to be with us, because it's within us. That which you avoid is going to keep chasing after you as well. So I know that, if you're somebody who suffers with anxiety or depression, and I've been there and I still deal with it on a scale that's a lot less, it's something to consider, that you have to sit with yourself first, because that's the only way you can relate to another person. And that the more I found compassion and gave myself the attention I needed, the more I was able to do it for others and show up and go, oh my gosh, what I'm seeing in that other person's where I've been in my life. And when that has shown up in my life, I know what that felt like. And so it's given me so much appreciation for others and what they themselves struggle and deal with in life. And that's humbling, is when you can see the pain in another without being triggered by it, but having the compassion for it. Oh, thank you, Lane. I love you too. Hi, Jeanette. And so even with my family, with my friends, and there's two forms of the empath, right? There's the healed empath, and there's the one that's still going through its healing. We pick up on others' stuff because it's something within us, whether it's good or bad or whatever you want to label it. Again, we're not going to choose. It is what it is. Om Tat Sat, or Sat Nam. Truth is my identity. And this is Truthful Tuesday. So in the comments, tell me, what's your truth? or hashtag Truthful Tuesday, or Tuesday Truth, whichever you like. Yeah, it really is about recognizing that if something comes up and it makes you upset, it's a trigger. It's still an unhealed wound, and the more it still continues to upset you, is the more you need to confront and sit with it, because you got to feel it to heal it fully. But relationship, so years ago when I started getting into more the oneness, after I did my Date with Destiny with Anthony Robbins in December 2008, I started to recognize, somebody said to me, you know what, life is really just about relationship. The first, most important, the most obvious is the relationship to yourself. Look, the sun came out. Spotlight's on me. I feels good. The first, most important relationship we'll ever cultivate is the one with ourselves. Then after that, it extends out to those around us. When you're good with yourself, and I mean this by 100%, you know that anything that you encounter, it doesn't matter if it's traffic, it doesn't matter if you trip over something, you're gonna laugh. That's the cosmic giggle, right? So the universe will tickle you. You may think it pokes, provokes, and is teasing you, but it's really just a simple tickle, just to remind you, are you still alive? Are you still awake? Are you recognizing what's going on in your life? Because what's going on in your life is showing up to be healed. So the trigger is there to give you the opportunity to face it full on. Because anytime something comes up, it's an opportunity to move past it. But you have to sit with it first. At least this is what I've learned in my life, just saying. And so you can choose to giggle, or you can choose to resist it, and it'll just keep on poking you. And you're going to be like, oh my God, are you kidding me? Quit touching me! My sisters and I would be like, I'm not touching you. Just my finger? You see my finger? I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. I see you. Mom, she's touching me. It's that kind of thing. Literally, like, how can you not laugh at that? And my sisters and I crack each other up. I mean, my little sister will call me up. And what was it the other night? Tom's like, I found her doppelganger. Hilarious. So funny. No, we have a tendency to have like super fun laughing and joking. And it's a joy. And I'm very grateful I have that with my sisters. But yeah, this is the thing that I've learned in my life, that the less healed you are, the more that stuff's going to keep on creeping in. And it's just an opportunity to go, hey, did you learn your lesson yet? The universe is like, hey, do you remember what happened the last time? How are you going to respond to this time? It's a choice. It's all a choice. You know, we can say, oh, but it's a challenge. Well, that's a choice too. You can use the word challenge, or you can say, and this too shall pass. And when I show up first, instead of it showing up to me, then it's an opportunity to just move on by gracefully. So yeah, it's about relationship, and the more healed you become with you, the more comfortable you are with yourself, the more patient. So everything's going to start with patience, right? Because that's true love. Love is kind, love is compassion, it is patient, it is relevant, and we all deserve it. And when we're ready to receive it, we allow it, and it becomes this wellspring of unlimited, and it has to start from within. This is the fountain of youth, is embracing your inner truth. Ooh, hashtag that, please. This is the fountain of youth. It is your inner truth. Anyway, so I love that. Sometimes I swear, I say things and I'm like, oh man, I need to write that down. I have to listen to the video again in order to remember what I just said. And I've had that quite a bit, I think. Thank you all who hashtag and write it down for me, because I do appreciate that. kind of like when I do recipes. It's always good to have someone write down the recipe, so just in case I didn't write it down prior. And I change things up so often anyway. And life is constantly evolving and growing and ebbing and flowing and just feeling so good. And the sun feels good. Come back out, please. So, yes, I love to laugh. And that's probably the one thing I got so blessed with Tom. Because I think he makes me laugh more because he laughs more at me. Because I'm just being me. And I've never had someone get me as well as he gets me. And I mean, like, and it's literally the kind of thing where he's not even in the room. He's like, I know what you're doing or you're thinking. And sometimes he's spot on. Sometimes he's not. And it's okay when he's wrong too. Because sometimes I am totally unpredictable. I never said I was going to be 100% predictable. And I did tell him from the start, I said, don't worry. I'll keep things interesting. There'll always be something new with me. And that's just the nature of my curiosity and my childhood frolicking, because I like to have fun. And when my sisters and I were younger, I used to like to put on plays, okay? So we did this thing. It was the Three Witches of East Hodgson, because we lived on East Hodgson Road in East Hodgson, which was outside of Holton. And I literally took curtains, you know those old metal ones that kind of hooked on the side? And oh, they were obnoxious and never cared for those. But I was able to rig it so that it would raise up the curtains off of the tree where my tree house was. And I don't even remember what the play was about anymore, other than we were three witches in East Hodgson. And we dressed up in my parents' clothes. I mean, we would stuff clothes in and just to make them fit. It was so hilarious. And my mom said that it was the best thing, watching us do stuff like that growing up. Actually, I'm going to have to call my mom anyway and ask her what that play was about. But it's the creativity of that child within you that you can bring back to life. It's a choice. We're not meant to be all serious. How many of you out there, this is a great example, remember what it is you were passionate about as a young child, and you went off and you had a different life. And then all of a sudden you went back, you realized, you know what, I'm not happy with this life that I've created because it made sense. Now you're coming back into your inner child's original passion. How many of you out there can say you're doing that or have done that? I wanted to be, and I don't want to say a gypsy, because I do feel like I became a gypsy for a little while just because I was living out of suitcases literally for I don't know how many years. It was crazy. I mean, back and forth between here and Italy, living out of one ex-boyfriend's place. Another ex-boyfriend took all my furniture. And then, I'm coming back here and live with my dad, and then selling my house and buying the house that I'm in now. So it's just crazy how life just unfolds. So I'm probably going to wrap this up here shortly. But tithing, it really boils down to your time. So where your time is going, let it be in a total passion, something you want to grow. Wherever you focus your attention, that's what's going to grow. I want to show you these pants that Tom got me. So they're not pants, these shorts. They're so cute. So we went out the other day, right? And I was drawn in by the color, but I didn't notice what it said on the band until after I picked them up. And I'm like, oh, guess what they say? Okay, so here we go. So let's see. So they're really cute. I'll show you. Aren't they cute? So check this out. I'm going to have to pull this up, right? They say inspire on them, right? Look at this. Aren't they cute? I really like them. So actually it was the color that got my attention. And then Tom's like, I'll get them for you. I'm like, oh, really? That was so sweet. Of course, that made my day. So anyway, what else was I was going to do a love spin boom. I haven't done that in a while. Ooh. Okay. Who wants a love spin boom? Oh. Let's see if I can put you back where you were. I got this whole camera thing going on. Whee! Gonna do a love spin, boom. I know there was more I was going to talk about, but ultimately, here's the other thing I wanted to share too. When you don't value yourself, you won't value others as much, and you probably will find that the things that you should be doing for yourself that are more loving will be more difficult. What do I mean by that? Yogi Bhajan said to us, as teachers, when we became teachers, that we had to also always make sure there was an energetic or at least some form of exchange when we would teach as a teacher. And here's why. He said, because people don't value unless they pay. And that could be in service, in exchange of a service, or even in the form of money. Now, we all want to do things for free. And people will say, oh, but I don't deserve to get paid for this or that, whatever. Ultimately, that's about value. That's about true worth, right? And if you don't value yourself enough, people aren't going to value you. So I've learned over the course of my life that I truly do value my time and I truly value my energy. And that's why I give back, where he said, tithe your time. Give where's your spiritual food, right? Give back where you get your spiritual food. And I think that's actually quite beautiful. So like I said, I spend a lot of time in the yoga studio, and that's where I tithe a lot of my time. It's where I devote and dedicate to practice what I've been taught, right? I give back. I support Kundalini Yoga teacher training, because to me, I know I'm also getting something out of it as well. It's not always just about the other person. It is just as much for ourselves. But that's what the exchange is. The more we're willing to give, the more we're also willing to receive. But that's the key too. You have to also be willing to receive. And a lot of times people want to give, they want to do for others, but they're rejecting that receptivity, that energetic exchange, the synchronicity, right? What you give, you receive, but only if you're allowing it. If we're not allowing someone to give back to us, we're also resisting that energy to come back. We're also denying the other person the opportunity to have joy and to give to you. And so this is something, if you don't value yourself still, you'll have a hard time receiving and allowing people to do things for you. You'll have this hang up on obligation. People get upset and say, oh, I feel obliged because this person did something for me. It takes a lot to wash that muck off, okay? That's part of societal teachings that, oh, well, if someone does something for you, you have to do something back for them. And that's old patriarchal paradigm, okay? There's an idea that, there's a paying forward. There's times when you will receive something from somebody that maybe you never do anything back. Maybe you don't realize you have done something back. You've given them the blessing to allow them to do something for you. So never feel obliged just because someone did something for you, and never expect that someone should do something for you in return for you doing something. Because again, that is an expectation, and that's the root cause of suffering is expecting someone to do something that is totally it isn't even communicated. A lot of times we're all stuck up in here. We think, oh, well, they'll just figure it out. They should know. They should know because your idea of giving that means you should receive this. And if they're coming from a totally different background, how are they going to read your mind? They don't know. You're projecting your experiences, your perceptions, your beliefs, all that stuff you're pushing onto someone else. So remember, as you show up in your life and you start to value yourself more, you probably will see people in your life go away because you'll do less and you'll create healthy boundaries. And your time is just as valuable. And so there's also energetic ways of tithing, and also bartering, let's say, is another word for saying that if I'm able to do something for you, I would like to do this in return. And it doesn't always have to be about money. It's about service too. I know that, teaching yoga, I love to teach. But I also know that, as Yogi Bhajan explained to us, he said, you should always offer some form of a payment whether it be by donation, but never allow them to just show up for free or in service. And the reason he said that was because if you don't put value on it, they won't put value on it. Now consider that. Value comes from you valuing yourself first, and it's your time. And so just keeping that in mind, that we're all valuable. Don't just give away just because you think, oh, well, it should be free. But that's also, there's an inner thing going on too, that maybe you don't value yourself enough. Maybe you don't value what you're offering enough. And how will you ever be able to truly serve if you're not in your personal power to recognize your worth? It took me a long time. I used to be a computer systems engineer. I made 6 figures plus. Now, am I expecting to make that in this point in my life? I've completely shifted and changed. I'm in a totally different place. I don't know. It all depends. Life is evolving. I'm doing things completely different than I did them in the past. And boom, you're going to get to see a love spin boom in my cute little shorts you got me, honey. Looky, I'm wearing my short shorts. I'm in a different capacity now, and I'm still developing what it is that I'm going to offer as a service, probably because it's nothing that exists out there. There's so much I bring to the table, and it's nothing I can put a label on because it's all-encompassing. There's words that I choose to leave out of this modality, this alchemy that I bring, right? So alchemy, I love this word alchemy. This word alchemy to me, it's always changing things into gold. That's what alchemy is about, turning things into gold. And I feel that I can be a catalyst in that respect. Mostly because I've seen it and I've had people share with me how I've touched their lives, and I really appreciate that. And so, yeah, that's something that's coming up, and I'm going to be sharing more as time goes on. If there's some way you feel value that I bring to you, please share with me. I'd like to know. It's why I've been kind of putting the feelers out there to see how it is that people sense that I'm able to give back to them what maybe I've served you with. I'm sure it's not just recipes or just being silly, right? Yeah. And I do feel my value. And it took me a while to recognize my own worth and to see that, yeah, I clearly have many gifts, actually. I don't usually talk about them either. And the reason I don't talk about them is because, well, if someone is seeking my assistance, they will feel it and they'll reach out to me. I think that a big part of it is I'm not out here promoting myself. I do see that if when the student is ready, I'm ready to serve, okay? Oh, it's getting a little chilly, so it's time for a love spin boom. Everybody ready? Okay, this is gonna be fun. I got my cute little shorts on, and it's getting a little chilly, so I'm going to have to wrap it up anyway. I got to warm up first. Boom! What? I love you all. Have a wonderful Tickle Me Tuesday. Tell me your truth.